doing a live stream or a live video, and I'm using the YouTube app. First live video on YouTube. All right, so let's talk about mortgage. Let's talk about buying a house. Okay, I'll do my best to answer um, some basic questions in regards to buying a house. What you should look out for, the common mistakes that people make before buying a house, especially if you're a first time buyer. Okay, mostly this will pertain to first time home buyers or first time home owners. Okay, they say experience is the best teacher. So once you experience, you will be the best to tell a very good story, or you be the best person to give a sound advice. Not all the time, but for the most part, experience is the best teacher. All right, so for most people who want to buy a house or who want to be homeowners, the first question is, do I have a good credit? Is my credit good enough to buy a house? Very simple answer. If you don't have a good credit, my best advice is do not buy a house. Don't try buying a house. Okay. That is my opinion, and I am entitled to my opinion, and I'll give you the reasons why. And the reasons are this: if you have a very bad credit, okay, if you don't have a so much of a good credit and you go into buying a house, you may be laughing at the wrong side of your mouth. Okay. So what it is a lot of advertisers will tell you if you have a credit score of 580 and above, you may be eligible to qualify for a loan to buy a house. Have you thought about the interest rate? Okay. If you have a low credit score, it is very likely that your interest rates are going to go up the roof. And here you are with a low credit score trying to buy a house and you are given a high interest rate. Mind you, for most people who do not have a good job, okay, for most people who don't have a stable job or a high end job, trying to get mortgage can be very, very cumbersome. Now, most loan companies require that you stay on a particular job for 2 solid years, okay, for 2 solid years to build some sort of trust that, hey, you are able to stay on a job, so therefore you will be able to meet your mortgage payment on a monthly basis. So my advice is for those of you who have lower credit scores, okay, if you are looking at anything below 600, don't try to buy a house. Rather, what you can do is build on your credit, okay? Fix your credit. Make sure your credit is up there so you can have a good bargaining power when you are going to buy a house. For me personally, I would advise that you work on your credit, work on your credit, work on your credit, work on your credit. At least A credit score of 700 and above is okay. 740 is good. 700 and above is okay to start this process. So if you have a low credit score of like say 500, 550, 600, um, make sure you find the loopholes. Make sure you find reasons why your credit is low. Fix those reasons, and hopefully your credit will jump up. Okay. But for those who have credit scores of like say 700 and 740, 740 will be your best bet. It's a good credit score to start the process of trying to buy a house. I would advise that with a credit score of 740, I mean, you can go ahead and start this process. Well, first of all, before you start the process of buying a house, as a first time buyer, you will need an agent. Okay. The agent will be your representative. So basically, your agent acts as a lawyer or like a lawyer in assisting you throughout the process of buying your house. In most instances, you don't necessarily need an agent, but if you're a first time buyer, I would advise that you go through an agent who would assist you. Most of the problems you encounter with this agent are a lot of them just want to rush you through the process without, you know, going through the details, without teaching you the ins and outs before forcing you to make an offer and before forcing you to accepting an offer. I mean, before forcing you to make an offer and before forcing you to closing on a deal when all is said and done. Okay. So, my experience, I'm basing this off of my experience. Okay. I was a first time buyer. I rushed through the process. I didn't want to stay in my apartment for another month because my lease was ending and I wanted to get out and move into a house as soon as possible. Okay. Credit was not so good. Okay. But I could afford it. So I went ahead and started the process and all that. Okay. So when you find yourself an agent, um, the agent there would go through the necessary steps with you. Okay, he's going to be your guide in this case. He's going to be your sole guide in telling you what to do and what not to do and all that. All right, so basically, after going through the agent process, finding an agent that you trust, you are going to get a loan company, okay, to approve of a loan. The agent may advise you. Normally, these agents work with a lot of loan officers. Okay, so they may make referrals. They may advise you to go with certain loan officers or certain loan companies so that the process is easier because they work with these loan officers and they know how they work. They know the documentations they need and all the kind of stuff. Okay. So my advice is do your own research before you start on trying to buy a house. Do your own research. If you find an agent, do your own research about this agent. Ask questions. Okay. ask questions, and you would find answers. So you go through a loan officer to get a loan approval. Okay. They approve you on a certain amount to purchase your house. And normally, before you even start all this, you yourself should do your calculations. You should know how much you're willing to spend on a house, know what you are looking for. What is the price tag? What price tag are you willing to go for? All right. So in my case, I tagged myself at 200,000. It's all based off on your strength. Okay. It's based off on your strength, your income, and after dotting your I's and crossing your T's, you should be able to come up with a set amount of, how much you think will be affordable for you. All right. So after all is said and done, you get approved on a loan. Your agent would walk you through the search process. Normally, they have their own search engines and they may run you through their MLS, and that would give you available houses, be it new houses, be it already built house, or be it old houses that have come to the market for sale. So he's going to be your guide through this process. My advice is be on the lookout every step of the way. Be on the lookout. So I'm going to possibly force myself to do a 30 minutes live stream, and we'll go straight to the point. Based off on my experience, if you ask me, if you want to buy a house, go for a new house. Go for a new house. The reason why I say go for a new house is the new houses would definitely come with warranties. I mean, 10-year warranty um, on your AC, 10-year warranty on your roof, warranty on your heating system, and warranty on your foundation. These are very, very important. Very, very important. Your air conditioning unit, your roof, your foundation, your plumbing system, and your heating system, and your water heater as well. Not so much on the water heater, but let's include the water heater. Okay, this is very, very important. So for the new houses, you are rest assured that you can stay in these houses for at least 8 to 10 years without having so much issues, without having so much things to fix, without having problems. Now, if you go for the old houses, this is what you will be looking at. Mind you, most of these air conditioning units are built to last for 10 to 12 years. 10 to 12 years. After that, that's just grace period for you. 10 to 12 years. The roof is the same way, 10 to 12 years. Anything after that is just grace period. Okay. The only time you can replace your roof is if there is damage done to the roof by way of a storm. Okay. or by way of hail, your insurance companies will come in to help you fix it. And that should be, an easy fix without you spending too much money. So for the old houses, if you are buying a house that is more than 10 years, mind you, if you're buying a house that is more than 10 years old, you will be looking at replacing the AC, the roof, and a lot of things in the house. Okay. You'll be looking at replacing a lot of things in the house. So if you're up for it, know that any house that is more than 10 years old will need a lot of things to be replaced, aka the ACs, the roof, uh, not so much of plumbing, but who knows? Your water heater, etc., etc. So be very, very mindful. So let's say you're going for a used house that is over 10 years old. After you found a house that you so much like, that you so much delight in, your agent will make an offer. Okay, already there will be a price tag on the house. So your agent is going to make an offer, and the seller would either accept or reject the offer, because you're not going to be the only one bargaining or looking at that house. You're going to be in competition with other people. If you're lucky enough and the offer is accepted, the next thing is what? You'll be advised to do inspection. So again, your agent will come in and advise you on what to do. And like I said, most of the time they work with inspectors, they work with a lot of people in their field. These are your lawyers, these are your advisors, in this case, trying to buy a house. So they'll be advising you each step of the way. They may advise you to look for your own inspector, but here lies the case that you're a novice in this industry trying to buy a house. You're a first time buyer, you're a first time homeowner, and you don't know what to do. So, guess what? They will be giving you the advices you need. And most of them already have agents that they work with, they already have people that they work with. Okay, so the inspector comes to inspect the house and all that and gives you a report. Your inspector will give you a report and will tell you as to whether it is good, it's a good buy, or he will list out the deficiencies in the house. Okay. And let me tell you something. These are inspectors. They are not professionals when it comes to people who know all that it is to know about roofing, people who know all that it is to know about air conditioning systems. These are purely inspectors. So all they do is to come around and inspect the house and give you a report. My advice is it doesn't cost so much to look for an AC expert, someone who knows the ins and outs about ACs and about roofs, to come and give you a second opinion, especially your AC. Because when your AC unit breaks down, my brother, my sister, you are looking at over $10,000 just to replace the outside and the inside unit. Okay, so be very mindful, and know what to do in this situation. For all you know, you've saved up, and especially for most first time homeowners, they may not be necessarily ready for um, uh, any damage for they may not be necessarily ready to for uh, any damage cost repairs. Okay, they may be ready for the down payment and just basically taking care of the house, taking care of acquiring the house initially. Okay, so my advice is make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's before accepting this offers and before signing this offers. So after your inspector comes to inspect the house and gives you the report, you would go through the report with your agent and he is going to advise you on what to do. Okay. After that, you get an appraisal. The appraisal basically tells you, the appraisal gives you um, the amount that the house is actually, uh, the house is, uh, uh, the appraisal gives you the price of the house. Okay. Not what the sellers are asking for. So that gives you an appraised value of the house. Okay. Now, after you get an appraised value of the house, that is a very, very good report to help you in your bargaining power. Okay, so let's say the sellers are asking for 200,000 and the appraised value of the house comes at 190,000 or 180,000. You can go tell them, hey, the appraised value of the house is 180 or 190. I'll give you 185, 181, 182, or whatever your agent advised, or whatever you feel it's okay to present as an offer. They have the sole power to accept or to decline it. But appraisal gives you an upper hand to determine if they are actually selling the house for what it is worth. Okay. Now, after all this is said and done, you will be looking at closing. Okay. Closing costs. Most realtors, most agents will tell you, hey, we can help you with closing costs, blah, 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 this and that. But you may not know. You may not know if there are any fine print, if there are any hidden agendas. Okay. For me to avoid the private mortgage insurance, PMI for short, if you can do the 20% down payment, it is highly advisable and it is highly recommendable. Okay. If you can do the 20% down payment, go ahead and do it and get rid of the PMI, the private mortgage insurance, because for most of these loans, what they don't tell you is the PMI stays on the loan for the lifetime of the loan. And they may not necessarily tell you unless you find out for yourself. Okay. And normally, when you're closing on a mortgage, all you're looking out for is, oh, what is my interest rate? What is the total value of the house? What is my closing cost? And how much am I going to be responsible for? That is your monthly mortgage. That is all people keep looking out for. When you receive these documents, make sure to read everything. Okay. And most especially, most especially before they sell you a house, the owners of the house are responsible for uh, they're responsible for giving you what you call the what is this that escaped me. If I remember, I'll let you guys know. But they are responsible for outlining anything that they know about the house, any defects since they've been living in the house, any defects they know about the house, they're supposed to let you know. Okay, that's the seller's disclosure. Okay, the sellers are supposed to give you a seller's disclosure that is supposed to guide you through giving you the upper hand to know what is wrong with the house, what you're looking out for, what you're buying, basically. And of course, most of these sellers would forge the seller's disclosure. So they will not give you the details. It is up to you to do a thorough walkthrough of the house, check, okay? Do a thorough walkthrough, okay? Carry your stethoscopes, carry your uh, microscopes, wear your goggles, wear your spectacles. Do a very fine, thorough walkthrough before accepting to, sign off on this office. So pretty much based off on my advice, I'm telling you it is better to buy a new house than to buy an old house. Several people have made objections to this. They so much want to go for the old houses, which is not the problem. The reason they give is that the old houses, you will know if there are foundation defects, but the new houses, if you can stay in a new house after 2, 3, 4 years and you have foundation issues, but I'm telling you, these foundations are covered. Okay, they are covered for 10 years. So if there's any defect, the companies will come in, check and fix it. Okay, but for the old houses, after 10 years, you will lose all the warranties and you will be so responsible for all the repairs in those houses. So be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. Now, if you're buying any house that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, that's okay. Anything after 5, 6, 7, not so much. Not so much. Okay. Because when you buy your house, you want to live in your house and you want to enjoy your house. You don't want to go to your house and be fixing things. Okay. And if you look at it, if you live in an apartment, anything goes wrong, any fixtures, you just call the apartment management and they come to fix it for free because all that is included in your rent. But when you buy a house, you are so responsible for any damage, any repairs, etc., etc. So be very, very mindful before you buy a house. Make sure you cross your T's, dot your I's, do all the necessary research, do ask questions. Okay, ask questions. Go on YouTube, watch videos, talk to people who have bought a house, ask questions. Ask questions before you buy a house or before you sign those contracts. This is very, very important. Very, very important. Now, when I moved in my house, you know, before the previous owner packed out and all that, I had to do a walkthrough. We decided to paint the whole house. That cost us about 1,200, 1,200. Okay, there were a few things we had to fix. I had to replace a fan. So you see all this. After the inspector had inspected the house and all that, we still had to come in, replace a fan, paint the house and all that, do little fixings here and there. So, I mean, we spent not so much, but you know, something. We spent a little in fixing, doing some fixes. And after 2 years, guess what? Boom, the AC. AC didn't go out, but the AC looks bad. Okay, the coils on the inside unit looks very rusted. I didn't know because look, I'm just buying a house. I don't know anything about AC, so I cannot go opening the inside unit in the Arctic and checking all this kind of stuff. Those are the responsibility of your inspectors. And I'm telling you, your inspectors, they are only inspectors. They are not A1 professionals when it comes to ACs, roofs, and all the big things all the big costs in your house. Okay, they are not superheroes. These guys are just inspectors. So there will be a lot of things that they will miss during their inspection. Okay, so be ready. I would say, after my experience, if you have to spend a little of, let's say, 10,000, 20,000 to buy a brand new house, go ahead and spend it. Go ahead and spend it and buy a brand new house rather than buying an old house. And after a year or two, you have a lot to repair, a lot to change, like the AC, like the roof, blah, 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 all the kind of stuff. So that is my take. I'm just giving you 30 to 35 minutes video of my experience, okay? I had to replace my AC unit after 2 years, and I'm spending over $10,000, almost $11,000 just to replace an AC unit. I know I can shop around and get a cheaper price, but guess what? If you get a cheaper price, your unit may not last you longer. So I'm still going to do my research. They'll be coming in tomorrow to replace my outside unit and the unit in the attic. Okay, so I'm replacing the exterior and the interior unit of the AC. Pretty much getting a brand new AC. $11,000. Okay, $11,000. All right. I'm undecisive whether to pay cash or whether to finance it. Okay. So if just imagine if you have not saved enough to take care of these expenses, guess what? Um, I don't know. I don't know what is going to happen to you. You may stay in your house and get roasted in the summer, find a loan, add another payment on top of your mortgage, and that puts a lot of financial stress on you. Okay, that's a lot of financial stress on you. But I'm just here to let you know a few ins and outs about buying a house. Don't so much trust these agents. Don't so much rely on them. Do your own research, talk to people. Um, you know, Today you can pretty much find a lot of things on YouTube. Go on YouTube, do some searches, watch some videos, listen to people's testimonies. Okay, talk to friends, families, people who are in the mortgage business. Talk to people before accepting or signing this office. And when you're going to close on your mortgage, make sure to cross your T's, dot your I's, read these documents. Read these documents. Don't forget the seller's disclosures, okay? Do not forget the seller's disclosures. Okay, I'm going to end here. It's about 35 minutes, going 36 to 40 minutes. I'm going to end here. Leave me a comment in the comment section and I would answer these questions. This is my first time doing a live video, so pardon me, pardon all the M's and all that. It's just my first time doing a live video, and I'm just giving you my experience, what I have experienced so far after buying a house. Okay, my house was built in 2009, so this is the 12th year. Okay, I bought it 2 years ago, and I have to replace my AC unit. So you can just imagine the stress. The AC it's running good, but if they open the inside unit and you see the rust build up and all that, nobody's going to advise you to change it. Okay, so I'm getting a brand new AC unit put in tomorrow, and I'm bearing the cost. Okay, me and my wife, we are bearing the cost. Well, we are bearing the cost. We're going to pay for it. This is my advice. If you're going to buy a house, buy a brand new house, or go to the builders after you've been approved for, after your loan officers approve you for a loan. Go to a builder, or strictly go to a builder, and they'll walk you through the process. It is better to get a brand new house than to buy a used house. Okay, buy a brand new house, you have 10 years solid. You can ask anybody, at least from 1 to 8, 1 to 5, 6, 7, 8 to 10 years, you can live in your house peacefully without having to replace your AC unit, without having to replace your water heater, without having to replace your roof, without having to check your sprinkler systems and all that, check on plumbing systems, free of mind for 10 solid years. And by that 10 years, you would have saved a lot of money. Your house would have appreciated. You can also sell that house and go for a bigger house or go for something that your soul desires. Okay. You would have built a lot of equity to be able to afford a bigger house, downsize, and pay more on the mortgage and almost finish paying your mortgage. Okay. And finally, my advice, don't buy a house and wait to refinance. Refinance, keep refinancing. You will not finish paying. So when you are signing this office, make sure that it is something you want. Okay, make sure you have a good interest rate that you can keep. Make sure your payments are okay for you, that you can manage for the lifespan of the loan. Okay. It is not about doing a 30-year mortgage, but make sure the payments are affordable. If you can afford a 15-year, 10-year mortgage, my brother, go ahead and do that. Far, far better than locking yourself in a 30-year mortgage. Okay. All right. We keep learning as we grow. Okay. Experience is the best teacher. Till I see you again on my next live video, it is adios, bye for now, and we will talk again. Nice having you. Nice staying here with me. Subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video. All right, bye bye.